I was crying all the time. I hesitated to even seek help because I'm a very strong, independent woman. But I came to a realization that I definitely needed help beyond what I was able to do for myself. So you said, this is the way we do it. You're going to come in and get a blood test. We're going to evaluate your hormone levels. I recommend you get this formula. I made the appointment. You were not in the office that day, but your PA was. So don't give me any of the estradiol, estrogen, whatever. Just give me testosterone. We sat down and you were very stern with me as well. You said, my PA said you did not want to take the formula or the percentage that I recommended for you. Well, I'm the doctor. If you want to work with me, this is the way we're going to do it. It changed tremendously. I got my energy back as well. That was very helpful because I had to.
How did that change in terms of your productivity?
I wasn't as tired. But we did talk about mood, but I really did not feel as fatigued as I used to be. I definitely was a little more focused. It's the approach of everything.
Welcome back to the Menopause. This is the podcast for women who refuse to pause. And this is my guest, my patient, a woman I love dearly. This is Claudia Vasquez. And Claudia's been my patient for a little while. And we just have had a fantastic rapport and an interesting journey. And so the question was like, where do we start, right? And we're focused here on mood. And we talked a little bit about that being the central symptom that needed to be addressed in your menopausal journey. So this is about you. So let's start with how did you find me? How did you find menopause or perimenopause? And how did we get here?
How did I find you the first time or the second time?
The first time and the second time.
And the second time, because I did have to go look for you again the second time.
It's true.
So I had been with my doctor, my OB GYN for years, before I was pregnant with my girls and then after I was pregnant. And I started noticing a little difference in my mood and so she and I talked a little about it, and she was close to retiring anyway. But she said, I think I've come to the end of where I can help you. And I'd like you to go see a colleague of mine. Her name is Dr. Terri-Ann Samuels. Why don't you go and see her? Because I think what you are experiencing is something beyond what I can help you with.
So honored.
And really what I was feeling at the time it was just, you could say, I didn't know in the morning was a very sad day for no reason, or very, very irritable. And really there shouldn't have been a reason to feel that way. So it was just hard, and she wasn't able to help me that time. She said, you've already had your children, and I had gone through a hysterectomy, and she said, so I think you're better served with Dr. Samuels. So I did make an appointment. If I remember correctly, it was a telehealth visit the first time. And you were very upfront from the beginning. You said, hi, I'm Dr. Samuels, but this is the way I treat my patients. Are you okay with how I treat my patients? And I said, well, I don't know anything about it, but I'm at this point willing to try anything because it was really affecting my personal relationships. I was crying all the time, or I was very, very irritable. So I said, I'm willing to try anything at this point. And yes, I hesitated to even seek help because I'm a very strong, independent woman. And so I thought, no, whatever it is, I can do this. I can do this. But I came to a realization that I definitely needed help beyond what I was able to do for myself. So we met, and you said, this is the way I treat my patients. Are you okay with that? And I said, sure, it doesn't matter. And you had me come in for a blood test. Is that do you want me to tell how you kind of?
This is one tough cookie, okay? All right, I'm sitting still for this. Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so you said this is the way we do it. You're going to come in and get a blood test. We're going to evaluate your hormone levels. I said, well, okay, I've done that before. And you said, no, you haven't. And that's kind of where our relationship really started. And I said, no, you haven't. And I said, but I've done my tests as females get their tests all the time. You said, no, you have never had a test the way I test. It's a very extensive blood test. And I said, okay, fine. So we taught it. You came back and you said, okay, based on your lab work, I recommend you get this formula of hormones, and you'll explain those, I think, a little bit better. And I said, okay. And you said, come in. We'll have it done. I made the appointment. You were not in the office that day, but your PA was. And I said, hi, I'm here. She said, great. Dr. Samuels has prescribed this, this, and this. And I said, no. I said, no. I said, what I feel like the most right now is like I cry all the time. So I said, so don't give me any of the estrogen, whatever. Just give me testosterone. And I don't think your PA knew what to do or say.
You're one tough cookie, because she cried. She called me. She was near tears.
I said, don't give me any of that.
I was like, Claudia. Whoo, Claudia took her down. And I was like, all right.
I said, I don't want any of that. You just do this and do this and me. And she's like, okay. And then she said, you have a follow-up with Dr. Samuels after that. So then I went into your office. And I also remember when I arrived in your office, because I thought, this is different, right? This is not a... And I questioned that. I said, why? This is a little different looking office. It looks very, very inviting. There are not 50 people in your waiting area. How are you able to do this? So you really talked me through why we were doing what we were doing and how different it was from maybe a traditional medical approach, if that's the right word. You correct me if I'm wrong in using the right word.
You're saying all the right things.
So we sat down, and you were very stern with me as well. You said, my PA said you did not want to take the formula or the percentage that I recommended for you. And you said, I know what you do for a living. You recommend certain investment portfolios. What if one of your clients were to come back and say, nope, I don't want that portfolio. This is the way I want to do it. I said, well, I would probably say, well, I'm the financial advisor, and this is based on my experience and what I know and my education and my knowledge, this is what I believe is best for you. And you said, well, I'm the doctor.
Ooh, no.
So if you want to work with me, this is the way we're going to do it.
Wow.
And knowing my personality, I said, great. Will you be not just my doctor, but my friend too? Because I just knew this is exactly what I needed. I needed someone to really say, no, this is why, and that's not how we're going to do it. You want it to work, then this is the way you're going to do it. You're going to listen to me, and that's the way we're going to do it. So from then on, it's probably been a little over 4 years, but from then on, we've been working together.
Yep. And I'm not normally stern, but it was one of those things where I think we had come up before. I could hear Claudia's need, and I was like, I really feel strong that this is going to help you, and I felt like I just needed to. I did not shake her, but I felt like I needed a shaker, right?
And if you had shaken me, it would have been okay.
It would have been okay.
Definitely necessary.
Yes. And so we started the journey, and how have things changed?
Oh my gosh. I had teenage daughters at the time, so not only were their hormones all over the place, my hormones were all over the place as well, but it changed tremendously. Energy was also, I got my energy back as well. So that was very helpful, because I had to. You don't have a choice, right? We don't have a choice as women. We got to get up and do what we need to do for our kids. So my energy came back as well. But really, it was laughing again. I'll never forget. My daughter was dating someone at the time, and he offered to help move a piece of furniture and put it on the back of a pickup truck, and it fell on the highway, on the frontage road. And I thought, my daughter said, oh my gosh, my mom is going to be so upset. She's going to be really, really upset. I can already hear what she's saying. And when they told me what happened, I said, it's okay. Are you hurt? And I'm going, oh wow, who is that just spoke? Because everything just seemed like just not better able to handle everything without having everything be very irritable. So we started on that journey, night and day difference. I won't fast forward, but very, very big difference. So I probably went to you, maybe you had a couple years for that. You justified everything. Every question I asked, why does it cost this? Why are you doing this? Why don't they cover it? Why are there? And you just said, look, here, 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 and here. And I have followed you since. I think it was about 2 years ago that I called your office to make my next appointment, and you were not there.
Mm-hmm. I went poof.
And I thought, oh my gosh, so now what do I do? And I started calling everywhere to see how I could find you.
You found me.
I did.
Mm-hmm. You did find me. I was in between offices and transitioning, and I hadn't even put my marketing out. And I was like, "Oh crap, she's on my schedule." So you did find me, and thank God you did. But like when you talk about that transition, in terms of and speaking, you're a powerful businesswoman. Speaking from that perspective to other women, how did that change in terms of your productivity?
I wasn't as tired. Mm-hmm. So we did talk about mood. We started with mood, but I really did not feel as fatigued as I used to be. Mm-hmm. I definitely was a little more focused in my work, but it's the approach of everything. Mm-hmm. It's the energy, the desire to do things, mm-hmm. the getting up and going and after it. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it also helped. I think I wasn't expecting that. I did come in with fatigue and with just the mood, but I think it's how it changes everything. Right. Your mood changes everything.
Absolutely. And when we put mood as one of the symptoms under that umbrella of menopause. What did that word mean to you when I first used it, right? When I went, from a familial, from a cultural perspective, what did that mean to you then, and what does it mean to you now?
It was just the